I will tell you just something I've discovered. I've been doing this for 21 years, and I found that our most successful clients typically find a way to get to one event a year. And they always tell me, they say, you know what, I've been putting it off, but coming to that really recharged me, recalibrated me, refocused me, and I met some good people. And you become the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. And if you're around successful people, that does impact the way you think. And so I'm bringing up people, and I'm going to pick on all of them to answer some of these questions, and we'll go one question at a time. So Josh, first question, what do you got there?
How do I create a merit-based pay system?
Well, I'm going to go to a 15-year-old by the name of Sophia. Let's get her a mic real quick. Can we give her a mic there, Josh? Josh, she's right there next to you. Oh, yeah, she is. Okay. This is Sophia, and her and her mom, Karime, they came to a conference. How long ago did you first come to a business conference?
I think the first time we came here was probably around a year ago before we started.
And how old are you right now?
I'm 15.
When do you turn 16? When does that happen?
June 1st.
All right. And you and your mom started your company. What's the name of your company, or what's the website?
Whistle While You Clean, and you can find us at whistlewhileyouclean.com.
Whistlewhileyouclean.com. And is it a viable business? Because, you could go to business school for 4 consecutive years, maybe 7 years if you pay enough money, and not actually know how to start a company. Do you have a viable business? Are you making money?
Yes, we are making profit.
And that's your mom right there, Karime? And how many hours a week are you and your mom working?
Right now, I'd say around 70 hours. Maybe sometimes it gets up to 90. It depends.
Oh, I love it. Okay, so you're doing it. And so you're building this business, you're growing it. And merit-based pay, that's where you pay somebody per house they clean, not per hour. You're starting to hire people. Have you started putting in merit-based pay yet with your team, you and your mom?
Yes, we have. So basically with the cleaners, you tend to, sometimes some of the cleaners miss some stuff, or, they just don't care sometimes. So what we do is we kind of just, how do you say it?
This is good. You're doing good.
Thank you. If they like get a complaint, for example, we have a talk down. We talk to them, and
they get paid based on the results, right?
Yeah. So if they are giving very bad results, they get sent back to training. It's kind of like a punishment, like, hey, you're not doing good, you can't lead. We have a lot of leading positions open. If you're not cleaning and you're not being a part of the team, that maybe you shouldn't be on the team. Now,
where's Melissa Torkelson? Is she in the house? Melissa, I DJ'd her wedding many moons ago. I think she just turned 23, but I DJ'd her wedding years ago. I think she's here. Is she here? Melissa Torkelson, is she here? There she is. Hi. I DJ'd your wedding, and 23 years ago, I DJ'd her wedding. There she is. Happy anniversary. Woo! Okay. But with our company, when I built DJ Connection, I grew up into America's largest entertainment company. This is how we did it. I encourage everyone to take notes. Somewhere on the inside cover, it's called merit-based pay. If I was DJing for your wedding, so let's pick on you, Karime. If I'm DJing for your wedding or your anniversary, okay, I would say to you, Karime, DJ Carter is going to DJ your wedding, okay, or your anniversary. And he's going to get paid based on how you score his service. So you're going to rate him at the end of the event, at the end of the anniversary, on a scale of 1 to 10. And if you give him anything at 8 or above, he doubles his pay. 7 and below, he's making half pay. So if he wants to have a good income, he's going to wow you. If he's not going to have a good income, he does, because every event is a big event. So you know it, the DJ knows it. So Carter, if you were a DJ DJing for her event, knowing that your pay would be half, because again, my DJs, we did 4,000 events a year before I sold it. That's 80 weddings a weekend. 80. So if you're DJing 3 shows a week or 3 weddings, you can't mail it in because every event is opening night. Does that make sense? How does that impact your mindset if you know that's going to affect your pay?
Well, 1, I'm watching some Ray Lewis hype videos before I go into DJ. And 2, I'm going to want to over-deliver each and every time.
I have one guy, our best DJ, I won't mention his name because he's probably watching online right now. We had a good reunion a couple days ago. But he worked for me for about 10 years, and he left, and then he came back before I sold it, and he said, I want to come back. And I go, you do? He said, yeah, I just miss merit-based pay because I mail it in at my job every day now. And I hate sucking, and my company I work for sucks. We all suck. And the company sucks, I suck, our clients suck, I hate my life, and I like the adrenaline or the thrill of knowing that I get paid based on how well I do. and I want to come back. Will you take me back? And I go, oh, yeah. And we had a good final 6 months before I sold the business because he just liked that merit-based pay. Aaron, anything else on merit-based pay? Because you work with home builders, and what people want to do is they want to pay their employees hourly to do the framing. They want to pay them hourly to do the crown molding, hourly to do the tile work, and you'll go broke if you do it.
Yeah, absolutely. They don't get the job 100% done. And if you have merit-based pay, then you have people who are the above-average performers get above-average pay, and they never leave you. You have people who are average performers, and they might be able to go up. They might also go down, but you keep them because they're getting average pay for their job. Yep. The below-average performer doesn't make very much money, and they want to leave as soon as possible, and that's what you want too, is for them to leave as soon as possible.
Does that make sense? Are we on the same page? Are we communicating that idea? Did that answer your question for whoever answered that? Okay, next question. Let's do the next question there. Josh. Okay, yeah, here we go.
How do I hire good employees?
This guy here to my right, this is Bronson Schubert. He is objectively one of the top insurance agents in Oklahoma. I say top as in top sales, top revenue generating. He brought a few members of his team here. I've had the honor to work with him for a while, years. He's a great guy. I love him. But it's really just about the beard. I can't grow one, so I like the beard. It makes me feel more manly to have him around. But Bronson, I'm going to give you this mic right here. Let's talk about this for recruiting. Every single week, you do your group. I do my group interview Wednesday at 5:30. I think you do your group interview Wednesday at 5. Tell everybody, what is the group interview? Why do you do it every week?
So most business owners say that they can't find good employees, right? And when I first met Clay in 2018 and he told me this trick of the group interview every week, I was like, yes, okay, that makes a lot of sense. So ever since then, we put it in place. Wednesdays at 5, we interview. And I used to, have people apply on Indeed or what have you. You'd look at their resumes, you'd call them, you'd try to do a phone interview, maybe an assessment. It is a long, drawn-out process for somebody that you may or may not like. And the group interview shortens that workload down to 30 minutes a week. Everybody comes in, you interview them all at once, you get to see who you like. We'll have 10, 15, sometimes 20 people in every week. And you're able to interview a whole lot more people that way and then find good people because you have to look at a lot to find the good ones.
So just to make sure we're getting this idea, there's a document I have here for you. It is, let's see here. Okay, I think it's here. Yes, here we go. This is the document. Hold it up at me. It says Time Management 101. And on this side, it says the perfect hiring system. Do you see this? I'm kind of proud of this document because I made it myself. Yes, what had happened was I sat down and made this myself using some photos. Yes. You got this right here? You everybody see it? I will not stop talking like that if you don't wave it at me. What had happened was, by the way, if you ever interview someone and you say, so tell me what has you looking for a job, and they ever say, well, what had happened was, if they ever say what had happened, you don't hire them. If that's the lead in to how they get going in conversation, well, what had happened was, okay, anyway, so how many of you interview people? Okay, so this is how the system works. Step number 1, let's give the mic to Aaron real quick here. Step number 1, you post a job every week I post every week on Indeed, ZipRecruiter, every week. Aaron, why do you have to post every week?
Because you don't know when the rock star you want is going to be looking. And it might not be this week. We, at Shaw Homes, we would interview every single week. And there would be several weeks in a row I would see nothing but losers, people who talked like you just impersonated.
What had happened was...
and even gay witches sometimes were... that's a whole other thing, but that's happened.
Now step number 2, you got to send an email to this person saying, hey, I saw your resume. I think you might be a good fit. You have to do it every week, okay? And you need to call them and say, hey, I'd like to interview you, and then pick your time. I do Wednesday at 5:30, Josh, because I don't want people to have to leave their current job and pretend like they're going somewhere else to interview for me. I don't want to start off with a cognitive dissonance energy there. Josh, why, if you interview people at 5:30, why is that going to work if it's after work? Why does that work?
Well, you're going to see good quality candidates who they're already good enough to get a job. They're just looking for a better job.
There it is. Now, Bronson, let's talk about that. We're going to get everyone's feedback on this. 5:30, you do it at 5. Why do you have to do it the same time every week? Every week, same time.
Well, your business to be successful, you've got to have a lot of things like on routine and on, a cadence, if you will. And so one of those cadences is the weekly group interview, and it's just very important. That way nothing else gets scheduled over it and you miss it. You know, just nothing gets scheduled at Wednesday at 5 for me except for the group interview.
Pass the mic down to Wes Carter. Wes Carter is the legal eagle. I have paid this man more money than I've paid anybody here. Unless Brian Wiggs is in the house. That's our home builder. I like that guy too. And I love Wes. And how many of you work with someone and after you pay him, you hate him? Come on. You know, you thought you liked somebody, you had them go ahead and do some home remodeling for you, now you hate them. Who knows what I'm talking about? I like him more because I've paid him. Great guy, winnersking.com. Don't not use them because I'm endorsing them, but they're great. I worked with Wes for a long time. But Wes, how often when you work with a business owner are they dealing with an HR issue, an employee that, you know, faked an injury, let's say?
Well, it's a lot. I mean, especially a lot of the ones that end up in claims, litigation. It's employees that probably should have never got hired in the first place or weren't let go soon enough. And so they make up claims about, oh, you're retaliating against me because I'm this religion or because I, you know, pulled my back out or whatever the case may be.
I'm going to go to Carter, be very vague, Carter, don't give me details on this. Were you not in the staff meeting where we had an employee that claimed that a bat was in his house and that's why he missed the meeting?
I was in this meeting, but I've heard a lot of other bizarre things too.
So there's people, employees like, I'm sorry I couldn't make the meeting. There's a bat in my house. We had an employee who used to park her car over down here and then would fake jog the final distance from the mailbox in to say she ran to work. I'm being serious, and I know this story because Stacy goes, there's a young woman, I saw her run, and I pulled over, I said, are you okay? She said, I ran to work. I'm like, have you seen this person? She's never run anywhere. She couldn't run to work. She would be dead. There's no way. This person is 2 hours late to work. She parks her car in the neighborhood over here and then plays that game every week. Stop it. Employee jackassery. Is it common, Wes?
Yeah, I mean, it's maybe not common, but it's the most common probably conflict that I see inside a business is employees that are disgruntled or should have never been there. I mean, I had a client that fired someone for sleeping on the job at a call center, and he filed a disability claim for undiagnosed narcolepsy.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
That's
I had it
awesome.
last year. So
Yeah, yeah. Now, let's pull this up, Sean. Let's pull some statistics on the screen real quick here. According to Inc. magazine, 85% of employees that were surveyed, look this up, write it down, 85% of employees that were surveyed said, I did lie on my resume. 85% of people are saying, I am submitting to you a work of fiction for my resume. Now, Eric Trump and I talked about this at our last conference. He said with AI, it's about 99% now. He goes, if you want to read fiction, read a resume. How many of you know what I'm talking about? Just completely bogus. I was a structural engineer for NASA on the moon, actually, in 1961. I was one of the first people there. Actually, I was the one who took the photo as the moon, the lunar, those fake-looking photos. I was the one who took those photos, actually. I am actually the one. Really? Yeah, I invented space ice cream, but there's no record of us pre-Google. But anyway, I'm here to apply to work in the call center. Have you seen this? Now, 75%, look it up, 75% of employees steal from the workplace. Tricia, I want to get your thoughts. You run a restaurant. How often are employees, not your employees, but other employees, eating the food? 75% of employees, according to the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, who were surveyed, said, I steal from the workplace every week. Let me try that again. 75% of employees surveyed are saying, I steal from the workplace every week. 70. What had happened was, I didn't know I couldn't eat all the food. How often do you catch jackassery?
So often. This one just happened. New employee comes in. She brings in the microwave pizza, you know, whatever they are. I don't know what they're called.
Hot Pockets?
She walks over and gets ranch and comes back and stands there and eats it. And I was like, did I just watch that? I was like, you know you have to pay for that, right? Oh, I do? Yeah, you do.
They want to eat. Who knows what I'm talking about? How many of you have caught your employees stealing? How many of you seen it? We had one employee who used to wear, I have very nice headphones, okay, who literally wore the headphones out of my office. And I go, are you stealing my headphones right now? He goes, oh, I forgot I had them on. And these are like like aviator headphones. And I'm like, get out of here. You didn't forget you had them on. Bronson, how often do you catch people stealing time? Like just pretending like they're working, but they're not working. They're saying, I worked 8 hours, but then they weren't actually working. I mean, how often will you catch that kind of jackassery?
Yeah, I'm in the insurance business, so I don't have product that they can steal. But
Yeah.
but I do have time that they can steal.
No.
You know, one of the moves is like if their lunch is at noon, they conveniently go to the bathroom about 11:30. And then they come back from the bathroom just before noon to clock out and then go for an hour lunch, you know? Or they do the opposite, right? They come back from lunch, they clock in, and then they go to the bathroom for another 30 minutes.
Brett,
Stuff
you
like
getting
that.
this? You getting this, Brett? Okay, so, all right, so again, you post. Step number 1, you got to post a job every week, okay? Step number 2, you got to respond and say, hey, love your resume. I'd like to interview you at the same time every week. Yeah, every week. Did I say every week? Did I say every week? Every week? Every week. Every week. Just on the weeks you hate yourself, don't do it. I hate myself this week, so this is the week the week that you want to just screw up your marriage. There's some guys I know who want to get divorced, so they do crazy things. The week that you're going to screw up your marriage, also don't do the group interview. Do it at the same time, get it all wrapped up at one time. Just get into a car wreck, do all that at one time, okay? Start doing drugs. You can't just nibble work. If you're going to start drugs the same week you stop the group interview and you get divorced. Do it all at one time. That way you can go to therapy with Rock and Rhonda, wherever she is. You can see her. She'll get you all fixed. But do all your sins at one time. Then, okay. Step 3. So you want to hold the interview every week. You want to have that interview every week. And I'm going to go to the good doctor here, Dr. Steve. Dr. Steve, we interview people, hire for character, and train the skill. Come on. Hire for the character and train the skill. You know this is true because you are smart. But you have been told, how many of you have been to like some kind of other seminar where they're telling you about different strengths people have? Have you been to this conference? Come on, you've been to it. Everyone has different strengths and weaknesses, and so Carl's strength is not working hard. He's more of a visionary, and Karen is more of a connector. She does not make calls or show up on time. Barry has a problem with time. It's not a problem with you. It's just the way the earth rotates, and he thinks it's a flatter surface, and the sun, and it's a lot going on. And then Carl has anxiety about working and talking, and he has what we call a phobia of workaholicism, which is what you have, which is why you're the boss. Have you seen this? Screw that. Hire character, train skill. So let's talk about Dr. Steve. You gotta have people that are quality people greeting your wonderful patients. Let's talk about what kind of people are you trying to hire there as you're growing your wonderful practice?
Right, that's a great question. And just to back up, as far as like the first time that we brought in a group interview, my staff, the ones that were knuckleheads that weren't doing a good job, they were like, oh my goodness, who are all these people coming in? And they started sweating and they started becoming better employees, actually, just from the group interview.
There it is.
But yeah, we look for people that are, energetic. They're going to make good eye contact. They're going to be communicative and just teachable kind of people.
By the way, who's ever gone to an HR seminar and you've been given a big book? Set the book on fire, look at this 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, and you're done. I freed you. I'm going to give you some quotes. The founder of Apple, you heard of Apple? Steve Jobs, okay? He says, simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. Someone says, wow, that's awesome. Steve Jobs said that. I don't like you, but I like Steve Jobs. He said that. He's also said, complexity fails, simplicity scales. Well, I like Steve more than you. That's good. William Shakespeare said, brevity is the soul of wit. I'm just saying if it's complicated, people can't do it, okay? So just keep it simple. Moving on here. Now, the group interview might say, what questions do I ask? Aaron, let's do that real quick. Let's do a group interview, okay? Let's do the interview.
Right.
And we're going to interview, you showed up, Josh, at the interview. You're there. Okay. Carter, you're there. I'm going to do the interview right now. And Aaron and I, it's a weird situation, but we're both hiring right now. We used to do this for Shaw Homes.
We did.
And we got candidate Sophia. You're a candidate. You're a candidate. You're a candidate, okay? And we're conducting the interview, okay? Here we go.
Yep.
I'm Clay Clark. This is Aaron Antis. He runs Shaw Homes. I don't, but we're hiring tonight. And by the way, there's normally about 30 people that say they're going to be there. There's normally like 5 that show up.
True.
To the interview. What kind of a sick person misses the interview? What the? In Tulsa Public Schools, they now spend $23,000 per student on education. and the product they're producing is jackassery. But let's continue. So, all right, so here we go. So then we're here to hire, and so what we're going to do is Aaron is going to answer questions. I'll answer questions. Josh, Carter, Sophia, what questions do you have for us about working at our workplace?
Yes, Carter, what question?
When can I take a paid vacation? When's the quickest I can do that?
We don't really believe in paid vacations, Carter. Next. No, I'm just kidding.
But they'll ask that question.
Yeah, in my mind, I actually have canceled you out at this point.
In his mind.
Be in my mind. But I'm going to say something like, oh, we have a probationary period of about 90 days. After 90 days, you'll begin to have some of those benefits, and you'll accrue that time overtime.
Next question. Sophia, what questions do you have about working in this work environment? Pass the mic to her, please. Here we go. Sophia, what question do you have?
How much am I getting paid?
And this is what happens, okay? And for the sake of time, this is what happens, okay? The whole interview process should take me 20 minutes. And then we go, well, hey, and if you think it's a good fit and we think it's a good fit, we're going to schedule time for you to shadow at the workplace.
Yep.
And then that way you can come to the workplace, meet the coworkers, see if it's a good fit. And that is the entire process, okay? It's not I'm not reading fictional resumes all day. I'm not looking at personality tests. I'm not overanalyzing it. This is how it works, okay? So we're moving on here. Now, step number 4, okay? After the group interview, you want to schedule those quality candidates to shadow. Bronson, when people shadow, do you ever get the weird vibes like, man, this guy might kill us?
Yes. We try to obviously not have weird shadows, but then sometimes the true person comes out in the shadow, and we're like, oh, no. And we tell them we're going to allow a shadow for up to 2 hours. We've kind of, up to, maybe. It could, but not be that long. That way, if it's like really bad, we just send them on home.
Now, I'm going to tell you a story. It's a true story. I thought it was a great story. Aaron won't like the story. We'll pass the mic to Tricia to react to this, and then we'll go back to Aaron here. We did a group interview one year, and I found this man who showed up, who he talked like this, and he says, so I'm just wanting to know, what questions would you have? If I were to work at Shaw Homes, what would I be doing there? And he talked like this, and I thought, that's interesting, the way he enunciates the S's, and that's exciting for him. It's fabulous. So, okay. So I'm like, well, if you worked at Shaw Homes, you would be doing this and that and yada, yada. So let me ask you, now what would we be doing? Now, he's standing next to a person, and their shoulders are touching, and both these men are dressed in witch hats.
Okay, first of all, this was the week that I wasn't able to be there, and Clay ran it by himself, and he thought it would be really hilarious to schedule shadows for me to have these people come in.
So then, and so I go, so when you say we do everything together. We're codependent. We have a relationship where I'm more of the provider and he's more of the nurturer. And I'm like, what? So I'm like, your friend here, does he have questions? And he's more, I have a question. He talks like that, like over masculine. I have a question. What will you do to provide security for my partner? And I'm like, well, Shaw Homes is a great place for people like you who want to. He
started selling it to them really good.
2 people that want one job is primarily what we do. And I'm not kidding. I'm not making any of this. It's a true story. I said, so what is your background? Well, I write for a Wicca page. There's a page for witches and warlocks, and I'm an editor, and I help people summon the demons and all this. I'm going, wow, it's amazing skill set you have. And this person is wearing a cape. And a witch hat.
And a black pointy witch's hat.
And a collar with like points on it. Yeah, and the boots and Marilyn Manson. The beautiful people, the beautiful da-da-da-da-da. And you can just hear Marilyn Manson, in the background. It's just you can hear the demon. And rather than going, I don't know if it's a good fit, what I said is Aaron Antis, who couldn't be here tonight, he would love to work with you. I know this because I know him. And when you two want one job, and I called my wife and I said, Vanessa, I've given Aaron Antis the best gift ever.
Yeah, it was great.
She said, what is the gift? I said, I cannot speak of it. I will wait. I called Aaron. Aaron, I'm waiting for it to detonate. I'm waiting. It's an ultimate practical joke. I called Aaron. I said, Aaron, is it your birthday? He's like, oh, no. There's a gift tomorrow. You're going to have the 2 best candidates you've ever had, Aaron.
Yeah.
They're going to come. And he's like, okay, cool. And we've been doing the hiring for a while for Shaw.
Yeah.
And he calls me. Do we have a photo of this, Sean? Do you have
You know what? I got to find it in my phone. We will get it in a little bit. I'll send it to Sean. I did actually. I went into my security cameras and took a screenshot off of the photo because I thought nobody's ever going to believe this actually happened unless I have a picture of this when these people walked in. It was.
Now, do you have it there, Sean? I think you can find it in Dropbox somewhere. Now, you had a person who brought an animal that was like a squirrel. We'll talk about this in a second. Trish, have you ever had a weird person come to the interview? I just want to help somebody. This is therapy. Anybody weird come to a job interview?
All the time.
Like, what's the weirdest you could think of recently?
Well, I mean, the weirdest incident was this one guy. This is all that you've been talking about. Like, you set the schedule, it's the same time every time, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, this one candidate kept asking to reschedule. And then all of a sudden I get a message, I can be there at 9:30 tonight. I'm like, great, but we're not there. So then I get another message 2 days later saying, can I come by now? And I was like, well, we're actually here, so might as well just come by now because we're starting another restaurant. So, and you're a cook and you're hard to find, so come on over. He walks in during a group interview and sits down and goes, I'm here for an interview. And I was like, yep, that's it right there. Go ahead, sit down. He'll meet with you afterwards, one-on-one. He gets all antsy, squirreling around and everything. I get a phone call that I have to take and walk off, and he's looking to see if I'm watching him. Next thing you know, he's gone. The next day,
He
I
won't
get
go away.
a message and says, can I still get that one-on-one interview?
This happens. So if you don't do this, you're going to be meeting one-on-one with psychologically impaired people over and over. Who's done that? Come on. I used to have 80 disc jockeys. To find 80 disc jockeys, I have to interview like 800 psychologically impaired people. So just do it at the same time. Talk about the squirrel. Tell us about the squirrel.
Yeah, this was actually one of my friends that had this lady come in. I had him start doing the group interview, and this lady comes in with a squirrel. And
she's wearing it.
It's crawling in her shirt and crawling back out of her shirt. And he's an outdoors kind of guy, so he's got a deer mounted in his conference room on a pedestal, and it's like a trophy deer, okay, like one of the best ever killed and rarest and everything. And it starts going over there and trying to climb on the deer mount, and he had to like end the interview and just ask the lady to leave, but it was her support animal squirrel.
Now, on the support animals, I've had people who've brought ferocious, wild animals to the interviews, and this is my support animal. Rawr, rawr, it's like White Fang, it's Cujo. Rawr, rawr. Who's had this happen? I don't make these stories up. So you got to have the interview at the same time every week. And then step number 5 is you want to hire somebody quickly. Okay? So once you find the good one, hire fast, fire fast. You feel me? Hire fast, fire fast, rebuke every other HR seminar you've ever been to. Hire fast, fire fast. If somebody's weird, you got to fire them. I'm serious. Who knows what I'm talking about? Okay, now Wes, Legal Eagle, here he is. The Legal Eagle. Wes, there's language you can say, such as like, hey, it's not work. There are the witches. Yes.
There we go. Oh,
yes.
Yeah. That was the witch.
Yes, that's the people. Yes. I don't know why you didn't hire him. Okay. So,
yeah.
Wow, that's the better half right there. Okay, so Wes, back to you. Wes, when you let somebody go, tell us the legal jargon, the disclaimer. Tell us all the stuff you have to say.
Well, I mean, it's a variety of things. So assuming we're not dealing with health issues, okay, because that's a whole different ballpark. But if it's just a personality thing, most states are employee at will, right? So my advice is always keep it short and sweet. It's not working out. It's not a good fit. I'm tired of looking at your face, whatever it is. They naturally are going to want a reason. And what happens is once you give them a reason, they defend themselves, and it just spirals down. That's not the purpose of this meeting. We've already made the decision. It's not a good fit.
So write down what he said to you. I'm saving you a lot of money here, okay? Just say it's not working out. And any other thing you give them is a trap door leading to bad things for you. Just, it's not working out. Next question on the board. Coming in hot. Here we go. Josh. Again, that's alwaysbookkeeping.com. That's Josh.
How to retain employees long term.
Well, we've got some really great people that work here, so I'm going to bring up Rihanna. Rihanna, can you come up here? And Sophia, I'm going to let you go back to your destination. Let's hear it for Sophia, 15-year-old entrepreneur. Whistle while you clean up. Thank you. I'm going to bring up Rihanna. And by the way, I never ask people in advance if they want to come up here. So it's kind of like, oh, no, the wheel of terror. Why did it stop with me? Okay. So, Rihanna, how long have you been here?
A little over 2 years.
How long have you been married?
Like 7 months, October.
Okay. And Rihanna is an example of exactly what I want out of a teammate. She's kind, dependable, hardworking. If you say, what are those variables? It's called 4 E's and a P. I didn't invent that. That's Jack Welch. Jack Welch, the #1 CEO of all time. He says he looks for 4 E's and a P. You might write it down on page 0. 4 E's and a P. Good energy. E number 2, they energize others. Like people like working with them. Energy, energize, okay. 3rd is execute. They get stuff done. 4th, okay, is they have an edge. Like they open the door for somebody they don't know. They say hi to someone they just met. They say we're out of toilet paper. You know what I mean? They're just nice people. P, they have a passion for life, okay? So how would you describe working here? And you could just tell us good things, bad things. Just whatever. Just let it go. Let it rip.
Yeah, I would say it's a pretty fun work environment. So all the coworkers we're able to get along. We're able to have good conversations, have a good laugh, but at the same time, we're still getting our work done. So it's not like an intense, we all hate each other kind of environment. We all get along, and we're all still productive.
Levi, I'm going to have you get off of camera for a second and come join us real quick. This is Levi. He was born yesterday. Let's hear it for Rihanna, by the way. Let's hear it for Rihanna. Now, Levi was born yesterday. We found him. He was dumpster diving. He'd been sober for 2 or 3 days, and we thought, this is the kind of guy we need. No, Levi's a great guy, hardworking, great family. Levi, how would you describe working here? What's it like?
It's honestly, it's been life-changing. I was a crazy kid, and this job has completely changed my life. You know, the to-do list, the calendars, the stuff that he preaches. I mean, once you implement that stuff, it's truly life-changing for sure. And then as far as the work environment, everybody gets along. High energy all the time, and like Rihanna said, we get our work done, and we're all high producers. It's just a great place to be.
Now, where's James at? Let's hear it for Levi, by the way. Great job, Levi. Let's hear for James. Now, James has had a lot of plastic surgery. He's in his late 60s, and I told him, you got to get that fixed, bro. And so that's, but no, James, how old are you?
I'm 32, be 33 in about 2 weeks.
That's the Freemason number. You got to skip ahead to 34. All right. Anyway, so we're moving on. But anyway, so you're 33, and how did you find us? How did you?
I met you through the Reawaken America tour, actually.
How'd that conversation go, the hiring process?
You were like, hey, what are you doing now? Do you want a job here? And I was like, all right, I'll have a job.
And you moved here from?
New Jersey.
And where'd you get married?
I got married in this building where you're standing in December.
In December, and you have how many kids do you have?
We have 1 on the way, due in October.
What are you waiting for? Okay, but anyway, so how would you describe the atmosphere here?
It's a great atmosphere, like Levi and Rihanna said. Everyone's getting the job done. It's a fun atmosphere, but you know we're working hard to get everything done that we can.
So how do you keep employees? Does anyone have any questions for James or Bronson? Bronson, how many people are on your team now? Do you have we're one of the top producing insurance agents now in Oklahoma.
We got about 17 on our team now. Yeah.
And then Kevin, where's Kevin Thomas? I'm going to bring Kevin Thomas up here. Kevin, you have about 350 employees, so I want to make sure you guys can ask questions for people that have a big team. Does anyone have any questions about how to retain people? I'll walk you through it. I'm going to walk you through it, but I'll make sure you can ask any questions you have. So this is how you do it, okay? So step 1, you have to have a weekly meeting. Now, see, no one got excited about that. Now people are like, frick, come on. Weekly meeting? You have to have a weekly meeting. You have to have a weekly meeting, okay? You have to have a time to come together, a common union, a time to bring those bonds together, a time to marinate, a time to conversate, a time for people to talk about their weekend. There's got to be a fellowship. There has to be a week. Who knows what I'm talking about? Weekly meeting? Okay, got to have it, okay? Second thing, you have to be inspired. No one wants to work for a low-energy, blunt object who just, your work wasn't done on time. That's the problem with you. No one wants to work for someone who's sarcastic. Well, I'll tell you what, the good thing about my week is that I ain't dead yet. I mean, who's ever worked for people like that? I worked at a restaurant. Who's ever worked for someone like that? I worked at a restaurant when I was 18, and my boss was always drunk. But he didn't hide it. He was like, guys, I'm inspired by vodka today. You know, just looking, wow, you know. But we didn't have a lot of options in our small town, so we worked there. But who's ever worked for Darth Vader? Right. So you want to have. So Josh, you've got a decent sized team now. How do you keep your people inspired weekly? What is? How do you keep yourself inspired? I guess.
I mean, outside of the weekly meetings, you do have to be inspired to want to be good at what you do. Like it's not, people get satisfaction by doing things well, right? And I think the important part is when you set your financial objectives, you got to make sure that they're high enough that the people working for you can hit their financial objectives inside of your system. So it's not good enough just to hit your financial objectives, because you'll continue to cycle out your good employees. You have to aim higher in order that their financial objectives can be met underneath you.
So if you're taking notes somewhere on page 0, got to have a weekly meeting with your staff every week. Got to have it. You got to have it. I don't care if you have a staff of I remember when I started DJ Connection, I had my first weekly staff meeting with a guy named Gareth. It was just Gareth and I. Who's ever had that staff meeting where it's you and one other person? That's fun. Gareth, we're going to start having a weekly meeting. We're turning some things around here. The culture's weird. And Gareth, like, well, bro, I don't know why we have to have a weekly meeting. We're always next to each other. I'm like, you're not understanding. I've read every John Maxwell book there is to read this weekend, and we're going to have a weekly meeting, Gareth. Okay, can we just do it now? No, we're going to book a time different from now. Okay, so you have a weekly meeting, okay? You got to be inspired, and you have to have a daily huddle. Daily huddle. Kevin, you got to have a touch point with your people. Pulse check, pulse check, pulse check. Why do you have to have a daily huddle?
Our general manager has a daily huddle with our admin team, and we have weekly meetings with sales, weekly meetings with our ops team. I just think it's important to keep communicating and keeping the culture, whatever culture you set for your company, you have to reinforce that culture at every single meeting.
James, you're here every day. Final question for you. Why do you got to have a daily huddle? Why do you have to have some kind of daily touch point?
You got to keep that momentum high. It's got to keep going.
Every single day. You got to have a daily huddle. Every day. Okay, next question on the board. And by the way, James, thank you. Let's hear for James. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay.
Any ideas on how to eliminate or deal with spam phone calls?
Yeah, I do. I'll get into that real quick. Bronson, we'll go to you here. I go back to that pride thing. I'm not attacking you if you want to get rid of spam, but I'm just being real. I like spam. You see my sign out there? It says no weak solicitation. I like a good sales pitch. So I don't have a problem with spam, or I don't get upset by it. It doesn't bother me. It doesn't set me off. I don't care. I like good panhandlers. I like anybody who's in New York City putting on a laser show for money. I like that. So it doesn't bother me. But I do know business owners, and Aaron, you can talk about this, to home builders that will say often, I just don't like when I get fake calls. So I understand that is a question. I don't have a problem with it. I just hang up on them. So I go, thank you for calling, yada, yada. And they're like, I want to let you know you've been pre-selected by American Express to be their next up. Awesome. Think you're a great guy. I'm not rejecting you as a person, but I'm definitely not going to sign up for another credit card right now. But go ahead and give me the pitch. And if it's good enough, I might. I'm feeling a little froggy. Let it rip, But I'm not. It doesn't bother me. It doesn't violate me. I'm also a guy who gives out my cell phone number on every website that I'm involved with. So I get calls from the left, from the right, the president's son. Anybody can call me. I have no boundaries. I don't care. But some people, they get a call from one person that's not positive. It freaks them out. I've also got literally dozens of death threats on the Reawaken tour. They don't bother me. If it happens, I get to go meet Jesus faster. Awesome. Okay, so Bronson, how do you do a spam? What do you do with spam? Spam.
My employees answer the phone, and then they kind of know the normal spam calls. But if it's something that they're not familiar with, they come ask me, and they're like, hey, are you waiting on a call from so-and-so? And I'm like, never heard of them. So they just go hang up.
And then on the website, you can put spam filters, but I want you to know, every hurdle you make a person go through to prove they're not spam decreases your leads by 50%. Who's ever gone to a website and it's like, just identify everything in this picture that's part of the sign or part of the van. Identify everything in this picture that's a mammal. Who's done that? And you click it, and you're like, I'm a 45-year-old adult. How did I get that wrong? Have you seen that? And you're like, frick. Have you ever tried to do that, where there's like spam filters or answer, and it's kind of a riddle? 4 + 4 = 8 ? And you're like, is that a question? I hit yes. Do I hit no? So you go yes, and then somehow you misread it, and who knows what I'm talking about? So most people just don't fill it out. So every spam filter you add cuts your leads in half. So I'd rather take the spam as a part of the trade-off of more leads. That's me personally. Aaron, you got something you want to add to
I was just going to say, we have builders who, it's like they get spammed, yeah, right? They get a bunch of these phone calls, and they're busy enough wearing a bunch of hats that it makes them want to stop answering their phone, not knowing that one of those they think is spam could be a sale, which could earn them $50,000 to $150,000 in profit.
There it is.
And so they pass up on that because they're trying to avoid spam. It's like, answer your phone. And I also get, on the flip side of that, they say, I'm hoping you can bring me a lot of leads, but I don't really want any of those calls to get through to me unless they're ready to purchase at that point. And it's like, no, you have to go through what I call yards after contact, right? Like a football player. Like, you got to push through the bad lead and try and turn it into a good lead sometimes. Sometimes you have to qualify them and get them to the finish line. So.
Next question coming in hot. Next question coming in hot. Here we go. And by the way, I'm going to bring up Steve real quick. Steve, I'm going to bring up here. And Kevin, let's hear it for Kevin Thomas, Multi-Clean. Thank you, Kevin. And by the way, again, during the break, talk to this man. He is a source of wisdom. He manages 350 plus employees. Pray for him and talk to him. Okay, next, yeah.
Can you translate this stuff into a not-for-profit biz?
Yes. And by default, every business is a not-for-profit. Yeah, you can. All of it. Yeah, all of it. I mean, there's nothing that we've talked about that doesn't. I work with a lot of churches. I can say one thing that
you make a profit. Don't give me that.
Well, there's a lot. I will say. I'm saying this. Wes can't say this. Wes wouldn't say this. I'm not even saying this, but other people might say this. In nonprofits, sometimes there's a culture where they don't want accountability. Wes wouldn't say this, nor am I saying this, but other people might say this. There are people who are intentionally run a nonprofit because nobody knows what they're doing with their money, and that, no, I cannot help. But if you want to be accountable, then we can help you. Yeah, next, go for it.
How to survive startup, including budgeting, only no biweekly system, but daily ranges, variable, all over the place, capital management, chaos.
Well, you got to have a tracking sheet. And one thing I love about Steve is a fun personality. Fun personality. Steve's a fun person. We've been friends for a long time. I appreciate that.
Longer than Aaron.
He's like holding back.
I introduced him.
Okay.
Nothing before.
I love it. You guys are going to work that out today. Okay, so the thing is, though, with Steve, though, I've known him for a long time. And can I share about the whole, can I share, though, about the whole sobriety thing? Can we talk about this?
Yeah, of course.
So Steve came into my life, and he had said, hey, I lost my job, and I wanted to turn my life around. And he said, before I start working with you, my wife and I would like to take you out to dinner. So we went to a restaurant, it was an Italian restaurant, 91st and Yale. I don't think that restaurant's there anymore, but Russo's.
Yeah.
And his wife, I said, so how can you, Sally, his wife, I said, can you tell me about, because Steve was saying he's gone through some stuff. And she goes, yeah, he used to do a lot of substances. And so I called the police and put him in jail. And I'm going, I just met these people.
True story.
And I'm like, you put your husband in jail? She's like, yeah. And he's just looking for some mentorship. I
got to get out, though.
But I mean, he's looking for some mentorship, and he's a really great guy. Love him, but he needs some mentorship. And I think about a month before you called me, and then to now, you've never had alcohol since then?
Yeah, I started in December. I think I actually quit in June of 16, June 6th, 6/6/16.
Whoa, Antichrist.
Yeah,
settle down with the third temple there, dude.
I was really good at drinking. Anybody else really good at it? Do your friends tell you? That's a sign.
Okay. So, but Steve is very self-aware. I encourage you to write that down.
You just
somewhere
have
on
to
page 0.
find other things to get addicted to, like Lamborghinis.
There it is.
And airplanes and jewelry. Do not trade. It's tough. You might trade addictions. Don't get coke and hookers. That's not a good trade-off.
Steve, is this AI?
I quit drinking.
Are you really this jacked?
What's that?
Are you really
you like
jacked?
that? I'm not going to take my shirt off, but yeah, that's it.
Come on,
you guys
bro.
like that?
That's
wow.
ridiculous.
Also,
Okay.
Round of applause.
Zoom in on my nipples.
Stop it. Okay, so what I like about Steve, though, and I want to make sure we get this, is Steve's very self-aware, and I encourage you somewhere to write that down on page 0. I want you to rate yourself real quick, okay? If on a scale of 1 to 10, if 10 is you have all the leads in the world on the inside cover, there's only 3 areas we're going to rate yourself in. If on a scale of 1 to 10, if 10 is you have all the marketing in the world, if 10 is the best marketing ever, if that's you, just put a 10. If 0, you need some help, okay? 10's the best, 0's the worst. Marketing, okay? That's offense. The second part is defense, okay? Defense is accounting, finances, legal, systems. Rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10. If 10 is the best, You know, you're great. 0, not so good, right? All right? And the final area is special teams, like a football team. Offense, defense, special teams. Special teams is 10, you have great teammates. And 0 is it's like Beavis and Butthead. I mean, Sodom and Gomorrah. It's a terrible thing. And what Steve does, which is uncomfortable for many people, is Steve is very aware of where he's not doing well at. And we first started, he's like, listen, I will outwork anybody. I just need to kind of know where to put my efforts. I got an addictive personality. I just want to know what to do. And you've just done it. And so when somebody wants to start a business, if you're not careful, you kind of, you tell people I'm an entrepreneur, therefore I'm disorganized. Or I'm a visionary, therefore I'm disorganized. I'm a big vision guy. People will give that. They'll accept that in a social setting. Like, oh yeah, you're just disorganized because you're an entrepreneur. But that doesn't work. To build an organization, you have to be organized, okay? Every billionaire I've had on my show, every multimillionaire, they're all organized. And if you're not organized, that's a problem. So we got to fix it. So Steve just said, I need to know the plan, but he's going to diligently do it. He just needed the plan. You know what I'm saying? But Steve was aware of that. Steve, can you talk about self-awareness? Because, again, you're very aware, which I love, which I also think is the key to humor, by the way. But go for it.
Yeah. Well, I think, when I became aware that I tend to do things to the extreme, then I had to start focusing on positive things. Like when I quit drinking, I needed a positive vice. That's what I'm like, okay, well, I get addicted to stuff, so what can I get addicted to? And so some people will pick, I don't know, other things like golf. I picked Lamborghinis, so I got addicted to Lambos. Now I'm on to airplanes, and I kind of like, you trade a positive addiction. But for me, I work 7 days a week, and I love working, but I have to have an outlet to have some fun, of like some things that I enjoy doing. And so I just try to integrate those in, but then I systematize everything in my life so that when I am doing the fun stuff, I'm usually always working. I've got like a relationship. Like Aaron and I flew out to North Carolina, had a great time, and met a builder while we were out there, which one of the salespeople just texted me, right? I'm getting ready to go call her. And so I just design my life around those positive habits that help me make money, where before I would sit at the bar at Ridge Grill at 9 o'clock at night and have a ribeye, and I was 245 pounds, and then I'd have about 5 crowns or 6 vodkas or whatever it was, and I'd drive home like an idiot, right? And so because if I drank on Monday, I would drink on Tuesday, and it was just because I was bored, I think. And so what Clay helped me do is get some direction and some focus on that. And so we spent a lot of time, and if you're new with Clay, it's like he'll describe it as it's like a rocket taking off, like the fake moon landing and the fake Artemis thing that's going on right now about how we're circling the moon. Bullshit, but whatever. There's a lot of like fuel, actually more fuel than you can actually put in the thing to get to the moon, but whatever, that's a whole nother thing. But a lot of effort to get your business off, right? But now I meet with Clay on Tuesdays. I actually have a meeting for one business at 7 and another one that's supposed to be at 8, but we're usually done by 7:30. And then the other business starts at 7:30 because we're in orbit. So we're just kind of making little course corrections. But early on, for us to get top in Google, I got up at 6 o'clock in the morning and recorded a podcast with an employee who was terrible.
Just so we're clear, I told Steve to be top in Google, you need to have like 1,000 pages of content. And Steve goes, 1,000 pages of content? I go, yeah. He goes, what's the best way to do that? I said, well, you could record a podcast that no one listens to, and we could transcribe it. But just so we're clear, you need to write this down. You can't use AI to write your content because Google flags it as duplicate, okay? So Steve was going, so I have to record 1,000 podcasts that no one listens to? I go, yeah. And he's like, well, how long would that take? I go, well, it's probably 20 minutes per show, and 1,000 times 20 minutes. He goes, I'll see you at 5 every day. And so every morning he would come into the studio at 5 a.m. and record every single day until he hit top. And once he hit top, he's like, I am not doing another podcast ever again. So, Bronson, I want to talk about this for a second. Just being organized, okay? What's the importance of being organized, developing that cadence for your business?
You have to be organized or else your life is a chaos. That kind of seems, common sense. But as your business starts to grow, I remember starting the business off, we didn't have a lot of things in place of where do you save certain files? How do you name certain files? Clay showed me like a nomenclature document, like the one sheet he showed you for the group interview. And I was like, dude, that's genius. And so now everybody names documents the same, saves them the same way. All the time that saves when you need to go back and get stuff, it's stuff like that you learn here that you don't learn other places, that are actual stuff you take back and implement that make you money and save you a lot of time.
Next question.
I think just going back to that budgeting part, though, Clay.
Yeah.
Strictly, it's really important to know that break-even point. Like, that really is that budget when you're first starting out. If you know that break-even point, you know what sales you have to make, and if it's not practical, sometimes you have to understand what your minimal viable product is so you don't overshoot. Right?
Quasi rant on this for a second. How many of you have gone out to eat and the food was incredible, and if you weren't careful recently, you're like, you could just keep eating all day or all night because it was so good? Kind of a fun story. Eric Trump, I helped him write his new book, called Under Siege. And somebody who bought a book was entered in for a chance to win a dinner with Eric and I. And so the winner, we did dinner at Mar-a-Lago, and Eric provided, check this out, a tomahawk steak buffet and a lobster buffet and a shrimp buffet there's like 6 of us. And I'm like, I could probably eat 65 ounces of steak right now. I think I could do this. I'm like thinking, but you get to a point where you're like, okay, I'm good, right? Okay. So with your life, you want to figure out your number, your break-even point for your life, and you don't need to keep acquiring things you can't afford to impress people you don't know. Does that make sense? You don't need to keep acquiring things that you can't afford to impress people you don't know. Also, back to our haircut chain, I only have 3 locations because I only want to have 3 locations. We have 47 great employees that work there, and I don't want to have 407 employees to impress people I don't know. So you want to figure out where your goal is. I don't want to be a multi-billion-dollar company to impress people I don't know, okay? So that's how I do it. Let's go to the next question. We got.
How do I grow a business from ground zero?
Carter, that's what we do a lot. That's what you do. So you get on the phone, and we guide a client down the path. Can you talk about the nature of guiding a client down the path? And we'll take a break here in 5 minutes. But talk about the guiding a client down a path who's maybe has no sales or low sales. How's that process?
Yeah, well, you have to get your branding up first and start getting leads, and then you have to find your sales conversion system. And all you're doing at the end of the day is finding a problem and finding a solution for that problem and figuring out how to scale it and get it in front of eyeballs.
A lot of wisdom you just said there. You said we got to generate leads. I want to make sure we're clear. You've got to generate leads or you won't succeed. Who knows what I'm talking about? And then with Bronson and I, we really don't ever talk about leads. Bronson, why don't we spend much of our time, or any of our time, really talking about leads at this point, now that you've got the systems? Why are we not talking about how do I get anyone to call me ever?
Because we've built it to where now we have leads flowing in all the time. And so, now we make sure we still get Google reviews every week, still upload content, but it's so much easier now. We just kind of systematically upload pictures, videos, stuff like that, get reviews, and then the leads keep coming.
Back to Trisha. I'm going to go to Trisha and then Dr. Steve and Wes. With your businesses, and we're blessed with the opportunity to serve. But by the way, that's Bronson's office. Look at that video Sean found. That's Bronson's office there on the screen. We're blessed to work with all you guys with your businesses. But Trisha, with your company, you just opened up your 2nd breakfast restaurant. And most of our conversations I have with you and your wonderful husband are now about systems and hiring great people, and it's not really about how to make the phone ring anymore. Why is that not the case?
Because it rings.
It rings. Makes sense? Okay, so to quote Forrest Gump, the great philosopher, one less thing to think about. Okay, so we don't have to think about generating leads once we have, but I have to be relentlessly hammering to get leads until we get leads. Does that make sense? Because nothing else is relevant. Wes, let's talk about Winners and King. WinnersKing.com. Again, great law firm. I don't get paid a commission to refer them. Although I've asked, they said they legally can't do it. Whatever. But the point is, WinnersKing.com, I use them. But you guys, your phone rings off the hook now. When Eric Trump came to me and said, hey, could you help me write my book? I said, yes. And he said, do you know of a literary agent that I could use? And I said, boop, 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 boop. Wes Carter, Tom Winters introduced you guys. And so Eric, you guys represented Eric's books. They were his literary agent. You guys do a great job. That's what you do. Why do you not spend your day now at Winners King talking about generating leads?
Well, we've gotten that momentum to the point where, you do a good job for someone, people like Clay, other people that we've tried to go outstanding effort to do a good job for them, then they send you people, right? And there's a snowball effect eventually when you get that momentum going.
But that Clay Clark, man, he is one character.
It's a good word for him, character. Yeah, that is it.
Good, driven, smart. And I've never met a guy who was so hyper all the time. He's doing so much good. And then I met his mother, and she just says, she just lets him be Clay Clark. So he's endorsed by his mother, and he's doing magnificent work. So it was great meeting you out there and all the people that he surrounds himself with. Clay Clark starts his days at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Oh,
You know,
it's incredible. Yeah, he's like he's a machine. He's a machine.
but his, I have problems with my company starting at 9 o'clock. Yes, hundreds of people showing up at 5 a.m. in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Man, he's a leader of a leader. He's a fantastic young man.
No, he is. He is. And it's for the folks that aren't familiar with you and probably few and far between, I first came across you, gosh, probably 15 years ago or maybe even 20.
Clay Clark is here somewhere. Where's my buddy Clay? Clay's the greatest. I met his goats today. I met his dogs. I met his chickens. I saw his compound. He's like the greatest guy.
I ran from his goats, his chickens, his dogs.
So this guy's like the greatest marketer you've ever seen, right? His entire life, Clay Clark, his entire life is marketing.
I heard about it on the podcast. Started listening to the podcast, became a fan, and then figured out about the workshop. I own an insurance and financial services agency, and I was hoping to learn from the workshop systems and processes. I'm big on systems and processes and always learning better ways to run a business more efficiently. The atmosphere's second to none. It's a high energy, really cool atmosphere to be around. Contagious, I would say. Just something every entrepreneur, I think, would appreciate and love. I'd say humorous, high energy, and full of substance, which I think is the key. A lot of business coaches or seminars maybe are high on motivation and making you feel good, but don't have a lot of substance that you can take back and implement, the following Monday, where his does. Man, there's a lot of valuable things. I'm gonna say, this is my second workshop. The first workshop I took back really the importance of a group interview. I used to spend hours and hours interviewing people, screening resumes, and that saving my time on that part is valuable. It was that and then the sales scripting that have been two major things just so far. Man, I think they're missing out on, expert advice from somebody who's been there, done that, built companies, has learned a lot of lessons. That's what I'm always looking for, is somebody that I can learn from that's ahead of where I am. And I think if you choose not to come, you're missing out on a lot of good advice that could help your business.
Hi, I'm Aaron Antis with Shaw Homes. I first heard about Clay through a mortgage lender here in town who had told me what a great job he had been doing for them, and I actually noticed he was driving a Lamborghini all of a sudden, so I was willing to listen. In my career, I've sold a little over $800 million in real estate. So honestly, I thought I kind of knew everything about marketing and homes. And then I met Clay, and my perception of what I knew and what I could do definitely changed. After doing $800 million in sales over a 15-year career, I really thought I knew what I was doing. I've been managing a large team of salespeople for the last 10 years here with Shaw Homes. And we've been a company that's been in business for 35 years. We've become one of the largest builders in the Tulsa area, and that was without Clay. So when I came to know Clay, I really thought, man, there's not much more I need to know, but I'm willing to listen. The interesting thing is our internet leads from our website has actually, in a 4-month period of time, has gone from somewhere around 10 to 15 leads in a month to 180 internet leads in a month. Just from the few things that he's shown us how to implement that I honestly probably never would have come up with on my own. So I got a lot of good things to say about the system that Clay put in place with us, and it's just been an incredible experience. I am very glad that we met and had the opportunity to work with Clay. So the interaction with the team and with Clay on a weekly basis is honestly very enlightening. One of the things that I love about Clay's perspective on things is that he doesn't come from my industry. He's not somebody who's in the home building industry. I've listened to all the experts in my field. Our company has paid for me to go to seminars, international builders shows, all kinds of places where I've had the opportunity to learn from the experts in my industry. But the thing that I found working with Clay is that he comes from such a broad spectrum of working with so many different types of businesses that he has a perspective that's difficult for me to gain because I get so entrenched in what I do, I'm not paying attention to what other leading industry experts are doing. And Clay really brings that perspective for me. It is very valuable time every week when I get that hour with him. From my perspective, the reason that any business owner who's thinking about hooking up with Thrive needs to definitely consider it is because the results that we've gotten in a very short period of time are honestly monumental. It has really exceeded my wildest expectation of what he might be able to do. I came in skeptical because I'm very pragmatic, and as I've gone through the process over just a few months, I've realized it's probably one of the best moves we've ever made. I think a lot of people probably feel like they don't need a business or marketing consultant because they maybe are a little bit prideful and like to think they know everything. I know that's how I felt coming in. I mean, we're a big company that's definitely one of the largest in town. And so we kind of felt like we knew what we were doing. And I think for a lot of people, they let their ego get in the way of listening to somebody that might have a better or different perspective than theirs. I would just really encourage you, if you're thinking about working with Clay, I mean, the thing is, it's month to month. Go give it a try and see what happens. I think in the 35-year history of Shaw Homes, this is probably the best thing that's happened to us. And I know if you give them a shot, I think you'll feel the same way. I know for me, the thing I would have missed out on if I didn't work with Clay is I would have missed out on literally an 1,800% increase in our internet leads. Going from 10 a month to 180 a month, that would have been a huge financial decision to just decide not to give it a shot. I would absolutely recommend Clay Clark to anybody who's thinking about working with somebody in marketing. I would skip over anybody else you were thinking about, and I would go straight to Clay and his team. I guarantee you're not going to regret it because we sure haven't.
My name is Danielle Sprick, and I am the founder of D Sprick Realty Group here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. After being a stay-at-home mom for 12 years and my 3 kids started school and they were in school full-time, I was at a crossroads and trying to decide what do I want to do? My degree and my background is in education, but after being a mom and staying home and all of that, I just didn't have a passion for it like I once did. My husband suggested real estate. He's a home builder, so real estate and home building go hand in hand, and we just rolled with it. I love people, I love working with people, I love building relationships. But one thing that was really difficult for me was the business side of things, the processes and the advertising and marketing. I knew that I did not have what I needed to make that what it should be. So I reached out to Clay at that time, and he and his team have been extremely instrumental in helping us build our brand, help market our business, our agents, the homes that we represent. Everything that we do is a direct line from Clay and his team and all that they've done for us. We launched our brokerage, our real estate brokerage, 8 months ago. And in that time, we've gone from myself and one other agent to just this week, we signed on our 16th agent. We have been blessed with the fact that we right now have just over 10 million in pending transactions. 3 years ago, I never would have even imagined that I would be in this role that I'm in today, building a business, having 16 agents. But I have to give credit where credit's due. And Clay and his team and the business coaching that they've offered us has been huge. It's been instrumental in what we're doing. Don't ever limit your vision. When you dream big, big things happen.
I started a business because I couldn't work for anyone else. I do things my way. I do what I think is in the best interest of the patient. I don't answer to insurance companies. I don't answer to large corporate organizations. I answer to my patient, and that's it. My thought when I opened my clinic was I can do this all myself. I don't need additional outside help in many ways. I went to medical school. I can figure this out. But it was a very, very steep learning curve. Within the first 6 months of opening my clinic, I had a $63,000 embezzlement. I lost multiple employees. Clay helped us weather the storm of some of the things that are just a lot of people experience, especially in the medical world. He was instrumental in helping with the specific written business plan. He's been instrumental in hiring good quality employees, using the processes that he outlines for getting in good talent, which is extremely difficult. He helped me in securing the business loans. He helped me with web development and search engine optimization. We've been able to really keep a steady stream of clients coming in because they found us on the web. With everything that I encountered, everything that I experienced, I quickly learned it is worth every penny to have someone in your team that can walk you through and even avoid some of the pitfalls that are almost invariable in starting your own business. I'm Dr. Chad Edwards, and I own Revolution Health and Wellness Clinic.
Clay, my honor to be on your show, and thank you for all you do. I hear the ripple effects from you are good ripple effects. You know what I mean? People rave about what they learned from you, so congratulations.
And we went from expecting maybe 250,000 this year to we're at 400,000. Hi, I'm Kelsey with K&D's Woodward Finishing. I'm business owner at 23. So I've been working this K&D's company for about 5 years now, and we started working with Thrive not too long ago. And we went from expecting maybe 250,000 this year to we're at 400,000. That's what we're going to hit or exceed. So we're pretty excited about that. It's been pretty much just listening to what they have to say. Their hiring process has just really been incredible as far as finding good quality help, and the just the accountability of meeting up with them weekly, and like such good insight, the resources that they have for specific business questions. It's all been really incredible. It's been a great experience, so I would recommend it to anybody.
What I've seen from Clay and his group at Thrive is they'll give you a simple system, and it's the simple systems are the ones that people can wrap their brain around. They're the ones that people can work with on a day-to-day basis.
Hi there, my name is Stephanie Pipkin. I am 24 years old and I own Black River Falls Cleaning Services. We opened in April of 2019 and it is now mid-June of 2020. So I wanted to talk today about the success and growth I have achieved by implementing the Proven Path with Clay Clark's team and my business coach Luke from Thrivetime. It has been insane to say the least. I started working with them in mid-February of this year, so we're about 4 months in of working together, and it has completely transformed my business in pretty much every facet. So I'm gonna check my notes here. So in 4 months, my leads have tripled. I was getting probably like 2 leads a week. Now I'm getting more in the like 10 to 15 leads a week. I have doubled my number of employees. I'm now hitting the highest revenue weeks in the history of the company, week to week it seems like. We went from about 6 appointments today as our highest in February to now 14 to 15 appointments a day. And hiring quality employees has become much simpler and less stressful by using their systems for hiring. I typically only get maybe 2 complaints a month, if that, and everybody shows up to work. I just have really high quality employees now, especially in something people typically consider a high turnover type of work, you know, cleaning houses, cleaning businesses. I have amazing employees now, and I get rid of the ones who are not so amazing and bring on new ones because of, you know, group interviews interviews and interviewing every single week. It's just been great, and I don't waste as much time on low quality candidates anymore. And your coach will hold you accountable. I mean, which I love. Again, the tough love is really great. You know, Luke's like a stern father figure, but he's also nice, but also stern when he needs to be when I'm being lazy and not doing the things that I know I need to do because I don't want to do them. So that's just great. Worth every penny. I mean, I'd pay him $1 million a month if I can, and maybe someday I'll be able to, but I would just say go for it. If it seems like a good fit, just go for it. Do what they say, even if you think it's stupid or ridiculous, just do what they say because it'll work. You know, people, when they look at my business, you know, people in my town, they think I'm lucky. They think I'm just, you know, things just happen for me. And, you know, maybe I am lucky, but it has a lot to do with hard work and, you know, perseverance and, you know, working till you cry sometimes. That's just being an entrepreneur, which if you're a business owner, you understand that. But it's having these systems in place of, you know, of course I'm going to be successful. It's an absolute because I have all this stuff in the background happening, and I have Luke and Clay and everybody on their team working really hard to make sure that I'm a success. And I can tell that they are just so excited every single week when I'm having all these wins and things like that. They're so excited for me. So it's the best thing ever, and I would suggest to anybody to work with them. So sorry for the long-winded reply, but I just had so much to say, and I could go on for hours probably about how amazing they are. But thank you to Clay and Luke and the entire team there, everything you guys have done for me, and I am so excited to continue to work with you for years to come. Thanks so much for watching.
My saying is, if it's important to you, hire a coach. And I think that's one of the reasons people are not successful is they eat a cheeseburger instead of hiring a coach, you know what I mean? And so my coach pushes me. They're younger than me. They push harder. They're trained. And as my rich dad always said, you know, amateurs don't have a coach, but professionals always have coaches. So I've always had coaches for whatever is important. And, you know, my rich dad was one of those persons.
Most of the best in the world in business or in sports, they have also coaches on the side and mentors on the side. Why? Because they want that 1% of 1% of 1% to get better.
You're on it, man. You're on it. You're on it. Everybody listen to this guy. He knows what he's talking about. Mm-hmm. You have the macro picture. Very few people have that point of view.
Clay, you're an entrepreneur. I'm an entrepreneur. And as they say in Stoic, the obstacle is the way. And so if you let these pinheads get in your way, you're in trouble.
The Thrivetime Show, 2-day interactive business workshops, are the highest and most reviewed business workshops on the planet. You can learn the proven 13-point business systems that Dr. Zellner and I have used over and over to start and grow successful companies. I mean, we get into the specific steps on what you need to do to optimize your website. We're going to teach you how to fix your conversion rate. We're going to teach you how to do a social media marketing campaign that works. How do you raise capital? How do you get a small business loan? We teach you everything you need to know here during a 2-day, 15-hour workshop. It's all here for you. You work every day in your business, but for 2 days you can escape and work on your business and build these proven systems so now you can have a successful company that will produce both the time freedom and the financial freedom that you deserve. You're going to leave energized, motivated, but you're also going to leave empowered. The reason why I built the Thrive15.com workshops is because as an entrepreneur, I always wish that I had this. And because there wasn't anything like this, I would go to these motivational seminars, no money down, real estate, Ponzi scheme, get motivated seminars, and they would never teach me anything. It was like you went there and you paid for the big chocolate Easter bunny, but inside of it, it was a hollow nothingness. And I wanted the knowledge, and they're like, oh, but we'll teach you the knowledge after our next workshop. And the great thing is we have nothing to upsell. At every Thrive15.com workshop, we teach you what you need to know. There's no one in the back of the room trying to sell you some next big get-rich-quick, walk-on-hot coals product. It's literally, we teach you the brass tacks, the specific stuff that you need to know to learn how to start and grow a business. And I encourage you to not believe what I'm saying, and I want you to Google the Z66 auto auction. I want you to Google elephant in the room. Look at Robert Zellner and Associates. Look them up and say, Are they successful because they're geniuses, or are they successful because they have a proven system? When you do that research, you will discover that the same systems that we use in our own business can be used in your business. Come to Tulsa, book a ticket, and I guarantee you it's going to be the best business workshop ever, and we'll even give you your money back if you don't love it. We've built this facility for you, and we're excited to see you.